It's like my new... All right, welcome to another episode of The Decent Show, specifically the mini-series called A Podcast About Nothing. Reagan and Ryan, as always. And we're doing Seinfeld Season 2 mid-season review. We figured that some of the seasons are too long and we don't hang out enough to do a full season review, so we're at the halfway point, so we figured, it's good enough.
That's like 12 hours watching in one day. That'd be probably not going to happen.
We might have to start doing it on our own time, but that's not as fun. We'll figure it out. But once again, we're doing a mid-season review of Season 2. If you listen to the first episode, it's going to be kind of similar to that. We're going to be covering best episode so far, worst episode, our season MVP thus far, favorite side character, least favorite side character, etc. We'll go through the categories as we get to them. Reagan, how's it happening today? Or how's it going today? What's happening? How's it hanging? All the generic phrases.
I'm enjoying the whiner things in life. Lol, hashtag meme, hashtag wine, hashtag drunk girl.
Yes, you should put that on your wedding cups as your wedding hashtag.
What if we can't come up with a punny wedding hashtag?
Live, laugh, love, wine. Anyway, so, but yeah, we're halfway through Season 2, and I would say so far it's safe to say Season 2, they're already kind of getting in stride. Things are significantly better than Season 1. Not to knock Season 1 because they got off to a pretty decent start considering 6 episodes, they don't really know what they're doing, show about nothing, etc. But now we're really getting into some episodes that are classics. They've got a lot of good lines, a lot more story, less Jerry stand-up, still happening, but there's less of it.
It's not as like interstitial. It doesn't like... It's not the transition from every scene, which is what it feels like in the first season.
Yes.
Which is appreciated, because I like it in small bursts. I enjoy that. I enjoy the stand-up because I just think it's funny how observational he is and how...
Never stops.
Yeah.
He never runs out of observations.
No.
Did you keep watching Comedians in Cars for any reason? Did you ever pick up on more episodes?
A couple more episodes, yeah, and he's consistent. He literally just thinks about this stuff all day long.
That's all he does.
But yeah, we're going to be covering the ex-girlfriend, the pony remark, the jacket, the phone message, the apartment, and the statue.
Which is the first 6 episodes.
First half of Season 2.
Okay. And what category do we want to start off with?
Let me read you some facts I found, actually.
Okay, good. Let's get some facts. These are Season 2 specific facts?
Yes, Season 2 specific facts. So the jacket episode has Elaine's dad in it.
Right.
And I knew that they had a problem. They were supposed to have her dad come in a lot more often.
Right, because they have George's parents, Jerry's parents.
And then they even have Kramer's mom in there at some point.
True.
But he never really talks about his family. But she mentions her dad a lot, and they didn't have him come back anymore because the actor that was playing her dad, I knew they had some problem where they were scared of him. But apparently he took a knife from Jerry's apartment set and had it in his jacket and was walking around with it, and someone saw him and was like, "What are you doing? Why do you have that?" And then he tried to play it off like he was reenacting a scene from Psycho, the old horror movie, and it made everybody really nervous. And apparently they're just we don't want to ever have him come back again. And then after that, Larry David used that as a motivational tool, hey, if we don't get this right, we're gonna have to bring him back. as he is a jackass, but I just thought that was wild that he was that
weird during his scenes and off camera.
Yeah, and he's a profound actor, apparently. He acted a lot in the 40s and 50s as a villain, mostly, in Westerns.
Do you think it's possible that it's kind of like acting PTSD? He kind of went senile from being a bad guy so much, and then he got old, and maybe dementia's setting in? And
maybe, or he's got that really graggly voice, and he's also just looks intimidating, so I feel like his sense of humor doesn't line up with theirs. It's going to seem like he's really weird. Because I'm sure the things I think sometimes I know are definitely messed up to other people, and are they would be very offended by what I have to say. You know what I mean?
No, not me. I'm straight-laced.
Nice. Another one is that the first episode of Season 2 is called The Ex-Girlfriend. It's got the girl Marlene. I didn't even realize that she comes back later in the show, and she's the girl that George says makes up having a boyfriend to not go out with her. So George hits on the same woman technically twice. She plays 2 different characters. So in this one, she's George's girlfriend. Jerry convinces him to break up with her or whatever, and we never see that character again. But that actress comes back again in the episode "The Soup" in season 6, where she works at the coffee shop and she's selling the bobby pins or whatever, and they go on that
That's
walk.
her?
Yes, dude, it's wild.
The Audible girl with the short hair?
Yes, dude, she
looks like a whole different person.
She lost some weight and definitely changed her entire hair and doesn't even talk the same way at all, and It's wild.
That is wild. I never put that together.
Me neither, dude. Her. I thought it was. I had to look it up outside of IMDb because I was like, dude, this isn't right. There's no way, because those actresses in my head don't look alike at all. But
they don't.
It's 4-year difference, I guess. So
yeah, and the whole hairdo thing is dramatic. Accent somewhat dramatic, and yeah, my boyfriend loves watching. He's a real watch freak. Oh, that's fabulous.
And apparently, the Pony Remark was the favorite episode by Julia
Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, or the character of Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
It's her favorite episode of the entire show, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
Maybe it's because she is such a big part of it, but she's a big part of a lot of episodes. But I guess that is just very weird.
I figured her being the boss of the catalog, some of those episodes would be some of her favorites, like the little kicks and stuff like that.
Yeah, because she's acting like a fool.
Right, and she's kicking her feet up on the desk, smoking cigars, and
I know on the DVD and stuff, she said on the bonus features or whatever, she's always said I was very sad that I didn't have that great of a role to begin with, and I thought all this character is going to be is just here and there. So maybe that was her first episode of actually being something. I didn't really look into why she likes that episode so much, but apparently it was her favorite episode, and it also won a writing award from the Golden Globes. So that was interesting to me.
Yeah, I could see that though, because it's
not one of my favorite episodes.
It's a classic though. Yeah. I've always liked it, I guess, just because of the pony remark scene. And then I have a note on it that it's the first episode we hear about the Harry Fleming beltless trench coat, which apparently originated in 1946. It's also the first episode that Leo's introduced, and the first episode where he name drops his son, Jeffrey, of the Parks Department.
Right.
And it's also Kramer's first apartment transformation episode, where he's doing levels.
Of course.
And also there's no George in the episode of the Pony Remark. Which I made note of it, and I was making notes while we were watching it, so it has to be true. But apparently he's not. I don't think he's in that episode.
That is interesting. That is very interesting.
Yep.
Before we get off of, before I forget about it, remember I told you there was that guy named Norman Brennan?
Yes.
He's apparently the stand-in for Kramer. So, but he's in the background of a lot of the scenes apparently. He's in the streets all the time, and he's in the background all the time. And
I feel like I see him a lot getting the paper. He's always one of the guys on the street getting the paper.
And I think the only role I could see in the show where I remembered him is remember that guy episode where Jerry talks about he's intimidated that no one thinks that it's the Wigmaster episode where no one thinks that he's with anyone.
Right.
And the ponytail guy is trying to work Elaine, and he runs into the friend, and it's oh, this is Ian. Ian is Norman Brennan.
Never mind then.
Yeah, he's the stand-in for Kramer, which is weird because he's way older than him and doesn't look like he's nearly as tall. But
wait, he's Ian?
He's Ian, yeah.
I guess I don't know who Ian is.
Remember they meet on the street and it's he has this goatee or whatever. We'll get there eventually, but it's just interesting to me that
because he doesn't seem that old when he's being introduced. Oh, wait. Never mind. I do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I know who Ian is. I had a brain fart. I guess I don't understand what a stand-in is.
They warm up the lines, or they want to see where everything goes.
Oh, got you. Okay, so he's never on film. He's
in the background. Through. Yeah, and then they just happen to have him in the background a lot.
Right, but what I'm saying is when he's doing his stand-in role for Kramer, it's literally just so they can probably do the blocking of the scene.
Yeah,
has nothing. Yeah, okay. I never understood what a stand-in was.
And last fact I have here is there's a couple. The sneaker in the pool remark. He comes back to that later when they're talking about whose parents are crazier.
Yeah,
I thought that was nice. And
My father wears his sneakers in the pool. When does he re-reference that?
It's when they're trying to think about. I don't remember the episode, but it's when Jerry and George are talking about who has the crazier parents, and it's like my mother has never sat in or been in a natural body of water, and it's like my mother has never laughed, not once, not chuckled ever. Yeah. It's like my father wears his sneakers in the pool.
Right. And that's later too.
Way later.
And he presents it as if it's new information.
Yeah, I mean it's been like 6 years, so maybe.
Got to remind him.
The show was almost canceled before the apartment episode. So there was a 2-month break there where they didn't have another episode. So yeah, that was wild to me. They I guess after the phone message, which
actually was to me a great episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But after the phone message, they went on a 2-month hiatus from February to April, basically, where the ratings were so bad, and then they brought the show back and they put it right after Cheers, and apparently that helped it until it became what it is.
Man, could you imagine if they canceled it?
Okay, so here's an interesting question. Let's pretend, and this is gonna be hard. Let's pretend we'd never seen the show before, right? And let's also pretend like we're not used to watching things that are, in 4K and look really well shot and everything. At what point during the show would you have had to have gotten to before you were in? Like, what episode? Like, if we started at the very beginning, would you have been in on the show after season 1? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't have been in, but I would have, like, there's a lot of shows that I get through the first season to where I think I would have been like, it's good enough to keep watching.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be like, oh, man, like, gotta watch this show. Because there's several shows like that where after season 1, I'm like, it's either trash, or it's good enough to keep watching, or I'm hooked. I feel like those are the only 3 things you can have. And for Seinfeld after season 1, I'm kind of in that middle ground to where I'm like, I keep watching it, but I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, I don't think... I think until you get to the first episode of season 2 is the ex-girlfriend. I actually really like that episode.
I do too.
Because it's a lot of relationship-y, breaking up, like, type of humor that's super relevant now.
Right.
And that to me... I don't know. That to me is like the point where I probably start like being interested in the show. But it's very similar. I never thought about it this way, but it's very similar to The Office and Parks and Rec to me, because like those are some of my favorite shows. But the first season of both those shows are not good at all.
Right.
They don't even show promise until the last episode, which is the basketball episode for The Office, which is great. But like that's 5 or 6 episodes in, which is crazy. But
and I don't remember. And I'm sure my parents won't remember either, but they've told me before that back in the day, like whenever I was really getting into Seinfeld, they had told me back in the day when they were watching it on TV as it was happening, that like they heard about it through local radio, and like local disc jockeys or whoever they were listening to was like, yeah, like there's this new show Seinfeld, like you should really check it out. It's really funny. And I think they even mentioned how they're like, it might get canceled because of ratings, or it's like the ratings aren't great for it, but it's hilarious and this and that, and that's why they started watching it. And I just don't know when that was, though. I feel like it could have been as late as season 3, and by then, to me, the show was already kind of in its stride. But I don't think the contest was until season 4?
Yeah, that sounds right. The contest.
I think I looked it up earlier, and I think it was season 4. But
yeah, it is. It's season 4.
So a lot of people, like I think somebody was telling me the other day, I think it was Victor who was like, I think they asked Jason Alexander or George when he knew the show was in its stride, or when he knew that like they could do whatever they want, or they were legendary, whatever. It was like the contest. He's like, once we did that episode, like everybody was hooked and we could do whatever we wanted. And I feel like that's accurate, but I mean that took till season 4.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I mean, I feel like they had a pretty solid fan base by season 3, though.
I would imagine, yeah, because from what I was reading about it, as soon as they turned over to get more ratings, it's sort of like the show's momentum just sort of carried through. And I feel like that the episodes are already getting better, in my opinion, because they kind of transition from that very weird, I don't know, just something with the laugh track just feels off to me in the first season, and they just sort of, they're starting to, I guess, head up from that. It seems like their comedic timing is less awkward.
Yeah.
and there's less seriousness to it, and the show just gets more and more silly, and that's just what it needs, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's cover some of our categories.
Okay.
We'll start with the least or worst episode of the season so far. To me, it is the phone message.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, why do you say that?
I don't know. I don't think it's like really that bad of an episode. I don't think it's awful, but I just like every other episode around it way more.
Okay.
Because it is just kind of Kramer's kind of sidelined for most of it. Elaine's kind of sidelined for most of it. It's just George and Jerry, and they're just sort of talking about this girl that they went on dates with or whatever. And I really like the moment of it's like, oh, do you want to come up for coffee? And it's like, no, I don't think so. I can't drink coffee late at night. It keeps me up. Love that part because he kicks himself for basically saying no to sex for the rest of the episode. But that's awesome. But yeah, it's a good episode, but it's just the ex-girlfriend is way more funny to me. It's just way more consistent. And even the pony remark I think it's hilarious that she dies from the pony remark. I don't understand how that even factors in. And the jacket, I love how scared they are in the episode and how afraid they are of like Elaine's dad and just how he treats everyone in the episode. I guess the apartment and the statue, I love both those episodes too. So just for that reason, it's just not my favorite. It's not my jam. We do get Uncle Leo for the first time.
In the pony remark.
Yeah, in the pony remark.
Right.
So that's good. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. For my worst episode, I was torn between the apartment and the jacket. I ended up writing the jacket. I don't know if I still feel that way the more I think about the apartment, but I forget what in the apartment saved. Oh, the marathon.
The marathon part.
The marathons.
Is the best part.
Yeah. That whole part. That's what saved it for me. So the reason why I picked the jacket, and kind of like what you were just saying, it's like I liked the episode, so I had to pick something.
Exactly. That's what's going to get hard. I feel like.
Yeah. For the most part, I think so. So the reason why I picked the jacket is because I get a little annoyed or tired with like their obsession with the jacket, like how much it costs, the pink lining, him trying it on, Kramer having to take his old jacket. Some of that stuff, I don't know. I don't find it necessarily hilarious, and it kind of annoys me after a while.
Right.
And then when they meet her dad, like the fact that she's making them have dinner with her dad, who she knows is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. To me, Elaine's social skills in that regard kind of make me mad. Excuse me.
And the fact that she makes them wait so long.
Yes.
And they're expected to wait long.
Exactly. All of that kind of makes me mad. The fact that he can't wear his jacket the way he wants to avoid the suede getting damaged. Like, I know it's all for comedy purposes, but for some reason it makes me a little bit more frustrated than it does make me laugh. And then her dad, like, has some hilarious lines, but then at the same time, he's just so...
Doesn't fit.
Yeah,
he's out of place.
Yeah, So that's the only reason why I picked that episode as my least favorite. But again, it's got a lot of funny moments, and a lot of the stuff I'm complaining about, they're doing to be funny, so it's really just me being picky. But yeah, no, good episode. And I'm kind of, glad they didn't bring Elaine's dad back. I'm glad they kept it to just Jerry and George's parents. Which, do you think they should have used, like, especially George's parents, when they started using Jerry Stiller, do you think they should have been in the show more?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Somehow?
They're gold. They're literally gold.
I know. But are they gold because they're used so sparingly?
I don't know, dude.
Do you think you would have been worn out by them if they were yelling every episode?
To me, they're, like, undefeated. I feel like every time they're on screen, it's hilarious, and it makes sense, and it's worth the laugh.
And it kills George.
And it's great. So to me, if you're undefeated, like, run it back. Let's get some more time with them, because there's really not a moment in the show where they're in a scene and it's not funny.
That's true. Okay. And do you think whose parents are funnier?
Oh, it's George's. Yeah, it's George's.
Yeah.
It's not even close. They're both funny, but
yeah, they are good. Okay, what's the next category?
We'll do best episode since we've already danced around it. This one's tough for me already, honestly. I thought about the ex-girlfriend for a while.
Yep.
I even thought about the pony remark, but then I just was like, that's what made me realize like I'm not about it. But then the apartment is probably my favorite one.
And why is that?
It's because of the marathon. Whole setup is worth that, because George talks about how women are gonna be attracted to him by when he puts a wedding band on. And you said you would like try that, which we need to talk about that in a minute. But he was convinced it was gonna work, and then all these girls are super interested in him. And one girl's like, "Yeah, I have all these seats for Madison Square Garden, and they're all free. It's a shame you're married." And then another one's like, "Oh, I'm so attracted to bald guys," which is like. And he's like overweight, and he just looks weird.
And he has glasses.
He
You mentioned bald and glasses.
He just looks weird. Like, especially the guys in that party from what you get a look at.
All tall with hair.
And none of these girls are talking to anyone else. And he's kicking himself for wearing this stupid wedding band. And then Jerry's still talking to Lane about, having the apartment, next to him.
What does the Asian lady say?
She says...
She's like, "Are you pretending to be married?"
Yeah. I hear a lot of guys do that just to get interest from women.
Right. So she just wanted to sleep with him.
Yeah.
But he's married.
Exactly.
Right.
Quote unquote. And then Jerry's still kicking himself for the whole Elaine thing and her living like right next to him and how that's literally going to be the worst thing in the world and how he basically made that happen. And then they're talking about who's the bigger idiot between the two of them. And it's like, I just gave up guilt-free sex and... tickets to every sporting event at Madison Square Garden, and then like I'm Lord of the Idiots, and then the woman in the background says you're all winners to the marathon runners, and he's like, well, suddenly a new challenger emerges. Love that whole part, and I love the whole part about the home bed advantage, which I think is really funny.
They cover that?
Yeah, in that episode earlier, it's like I'd have to be bringing girls. I couldn't bring girls back anymore. I'd have to go to their place. I'd be in a constant away game.
That's true though. No, I get that. That's probably... Maybe we should do, like, a category of Jerry's best observation.
Oh, that is good, yeah.
We might have to add that. For right now, that to me is one of the best.
That is.
It's up there. Or his best word. Like, I love when he says uncoagulate the dishwasher liquid or whatever. The top of the dishwashing dispenser. But yeah, best episode... I already forgot the name of it. The Apartment, yeah. Okay.
That's you? Or what do you
no, but I do have some notes on The Apartment. I actually took notes on the messages, all of the episodes. So on The Apartment, Manny is the guy who speaks Spanish, who I guess is the super or something?
Something like that.
Part of the landlord team, I don't know. It's Harold and Manny. And Manny understands English, but he can't speak a lick of it. And Harold understands what Manny's saying in Spanish.
Yeah.
I just wrote that down because I thought it was weird.
Yeah, that would be quite the predicament you would run into in real life. Like how that's such a specific circumstance.
Right. And then in that episode, like it is funny in the episode, but like part of me is like pissed off at Kramer for basically almost screwing Jerry out of $5,000.
Twice?
Yeah, especially the $5,000 part. And then I did write down George's wedding ring experiment. I loved all of that, like him just wanting to do it to begin with, and then how it went down.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to talk about that, or you want to talk about that off air?
No, I just you said you were gonna try to do that. Are you being like? I'm
gonna get on Facebook, delete my relationship status, and then once I could do it now, but it'd be cooler. It'd be easier to do once COVID's over, more time has passed.
Yeah. A lot of people will be itching to go outside, too. So
right. And then just start going out.
And do you think it'll be successful?
I don't even care if it is. I'm not going to even bring attention to it.
You just want to see what happens?
I'm just going to have it on, and then I'm going to go out and do what I would normally do. And see if anything's different.
And what if you're in a predicament similar to George, where a girl when a girl is interested in you and she's like, it's a shame you're married?
I'm batting zeros right now, so I'm interested to have girls ask me questions.
But what are you going to say to get out of that?
Doesn't matter. It depends on what they ask me, but I could say I'm either gonna.
You're not gonna admit that you're just doing it to.
Right, never.
You're not.
No,
okay.
No, not gonna.
So you're gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna lie. I'm either gonna lie or I'm just gonna be like a politician and just dance around their questions, either with more questions or just by not answering, or just pretend to be married. Just be like, the missus, 5 years.
But then you don't get with her, or you don't get anything out of that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying.
Women love married men. Let's be honest.
Okay, you're right.
We'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. I can't. To me, I can't lose. To me, I'll either get a laugh or I'll get a girl or both.
And that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. So, and then one of my favorite quotes, which we'll talk about, I guess, favorite quotes, because I haven't decided on one, but in that episode, you know, Jerry's like, hey, George, like, I'm about to have to do some acting here. I'm going to have to lie and act like I'm upset about Elaine not getting the apartment. He's like, I lie every second of the day. My life is a sham. Yeah. I love that. So I'm supposed to be giving you my best episode?
Correct.
So I had it tossed up between the ex-girlfriend and the phone message, both because of their relevance, relationship stuff that they do in those episodes. I think they're both really funny. I did end up going with the phone message, which is your least favorite, which is why I thought it was interesting. I think maybe recency bias plays into effect just because we watched it tonight. But I love how George and Jerry both have amazing dates, and then they both ruin it. And then how...
With the smallest things.
The smallest of things. And then, like, Jerry, like, blows up on this girl about the Dockers commercial, and I love how it's called back with George and Kramer. And that, like, blows up in her face, and she gets mad. Like, both of them are like, oh, yeah, the Dockers girl. So, I thought that was great. And then I loved the whole trying to coordinate the phone tape switch, you know, getting the tape recorder out of her phone machine and, like, how they're going to do that. And they do all this work, and they finally get it. And she's like, oh, yeah, like, I already heard everything. So that's the only thing I will say about that, though. I had notes on this episode. I love, one of my favorite lines is George saying that, you know, I can't have coffee, it keeps me up late. I love Jerry's rant about the Docker commercial because I feel like I've done that too. Where, like, something's so petty, I'll just be like, it's so stupid.
It's
like,
so generic, and it's so,
like I told you, I had you pause the episode. I love the argument that George and Elaine have over what women want after a date, and I think it's amazing how right they both are. George's phone message is one of the cringiest things I've seen. Like, that message is rough. Like, the one we actually get to see.
Yeah.
And then, again, why does she think the messages are hilarious? I just don't get how she wouldn't be freaked out. Freaked out alone by the first message, and then he continues to leave messages not knowing she's out of town. And I guess maybe that's why she thought they were funny, because she was out of town and, like, she feels bad about the whole phone being broken situation. Otherwise, she would have answered the phone had she not gone out of town / her machine worked. But still, like, the fact that she thinks it's hilarious and doesn't think it's a huge...
It's very weird.
Right, and that she's excited to see him and they're going to go have dinner and she's not, like, red flagging him like crazy.
For being a psycho.
Also, why doesn't she mention it sooner? She's like, I'm going to go upstairs and check my messages. By the way, I already heard all of yours.
Yeah, that should jog your memory, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was all kind of weird.
Yep.
But still, probably my favorite episode. I love a lot of elements of the statue. And the pony remark, but yeah, went with the phone message.
Okay.
Because that's definitely such a 90s problem. I think ever since you told me about your dad being like, you know, a lot of these problems would be solved with, like, cell phones and modern technology, I do love the problems that they have in this show because, I don't know, it's stuff that was a problem back then that we don't really get to enjoy anymore.
That's true, yeah. Who's your MVP so far?
George.
Yeah, me too.
Always. It's always...
Kramer's not enough of a character yet. Like, he's not given enough time on the screen, I feel like, to be... What he's doing is hilarious. He's screwing things over for Jerry in the apartment. He's screwing things over for Jerry and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's busting down the door and telling a guy to make love to the wall.
Yes, I was going to say, he's making a case with the statue episode.
But it's not there yet. You know?
Right. Because busting up Ray and then giving the statue to George only to pat him on the back and break it.
That's classic Kramer right there. But there's not enough of him. And George, he's got a lot of great lines. He's got a lot of great lines so far.
Right.
Where he's
talking
had
a lot of problems.
Yeah, exactly. What about your least favorite side character?
Ooh, who's your least favorite side character?
It's Manny and what's his name?
That's your least favorite?
Yeah.
You know, they should be mine, but I already had Marlene written down because she's obnoxiously Southern. It kind of annoys me when...
What I do love about it is that it's not like anything...
She's a favorite and least favorite at the same time, but...
I love how she's like, I can't be with somebody if I don't respect what they do. And he's like, you're a cashier! Just dumps on her immediately.
I love it.
It's great stuff. But yeah, I can see how that could get annoying. Manny and the other guy, they
They don't add anything good.
Yeah, and the fact that you brought up that thing of him understanding English but not being able to speak it, and just even makes it even more annoying.
Right. Yeah, the language thing they have going on makes zero sense. Harold just perfectly understands all that fast Spanish when he's like the whitest guy ever.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And he doesn't speak Spanish back.
Yeah. So how do they have a friendship? It doesn't make any sense to me.
How do they have a business relationship?
Also true. So this is an interesting one. Who's your most favorite side character? Mine's weird.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Rava.
Oh, that's a good one.
I really like Rava.
Rava's good.
She doesn't say much. She's in the statue episode. That's it. But she is so dark and messed up, and like, I don't even know where my father is. I hope he's rotting in an alley somewhere. And Jerry's like, so you write children's books? Or, whoa. And like, so did y'all go out last night? He's like, no, we made love on the floor like two animals. Just
insatiable.
Just says it right in front of everyone. I love that.
No, you're right. That actually is a great choice. I went with the safe bet. I went with Leo or Jerry's parents. Probably going to give the nod to Leo just because he's doing the arm grabbing thing. He's grabbing Jerry's arm. He's talking about the parks department.
I'm proud
You should read some of the letters he writes.
They're hilarious.
So, yeah. But Leo's like a very recurring side character. I guess it would have been better to go with somebody a little bit more obscure like Rava. I do like some of Ray's rants throughout the statue about Jerry being the king of comedy and lord of the manor and Danishes and tea and all that stuff, and then how like it's pretty much all an act.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as she's like, "Come help me with the tea," he's like, "All right, I'm coming."
Yeah,
like he's like it's just instantly out of character. So that was favorite side character. Now, do you have an obscure reference, or actually, do you want to do favorite line or obscure reference?
We'll do favorite line.
All right, good.
It's tough call between the made love on the floor like two animals, and suddenly there's a new contender. It depends on what you call a line. Like, how long is a line? Is a line a scene or like just an interaction between a couple of people?
I would say it's a one-liner from a character that's followed by a laugh track, generally.
Oh, okay.
Or followed by our laugh.
Okay.
Or both.
I would say that it's got to be the made love on the floor like two animals, because the thing that's so funny about the suddenly there's a new contender is there's all that build up. There's that's like multiple lines. That's a whole scene of build up.
Right. No, but that's fair.
I'll give it to the animals one because it's out of nowhere and it is actually more of a line.
Okay.
But they're both great.
Okay. So I wrote them all down, so I kind of want to give you all of the favorite lines I wrote down, but I'll go ahead and give you my absolute favorite. Mm-hmm. So the number one. No dessert for me. Too much sugar makes my ankles swell up and I can't dance. That's from Jerry. So, and I forget. It's the Pony Remark episode. He says it. He's like, yeah. No,
don't you want to stay for dessert? And it's like,
no, my ankles swell up and I can't dance. And they're like, dance? I'm like, what? So, yeah. I loved how random that was.
He said they say a lot of they have a lot of random intros I never really picked up on. Like, they just, some of the things they say are just, I really want to have over 360 pair of underwear that we only have to do wash once a year. And it's like, this is working on this girl.
Yeah.
This is interesting to her. And she's like, yeah, I think you should come upstairs.
It's because he's funny.
You're funny. That's funny.
I wish I wrote the full line, but I got you're going to know it because you know the show so well. But he's like, George says, they're like, would you really do that? And he goes, if I was a different person.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one. No dessert for me. And then, I've been thinking, I can't envision any circumstance where I'll ever have sex again. Just don't see how it's going to happen. And he just, says that out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. So I love that one. And then George goes, is this me? And Kramer goes, that's more you than you've ever been.
Nice.
And then I had I lie every second of my life is a sham.
All great contenders.
Yeah, good contenders, but gave it to no dessert for me. My ankles swell up and I can't dance.
Wow, I would have sworn you would have gone for the I can't imagine any scenario in which I'll have sex again. That is a classic line.
Yeah, I think that was like the meatball. I felt like it was too obvious. I wanted to give credit to Jerry for a very random line. And something I would probably say at a dinner party that I had no interest in being at. Like, if I was at some kind of dinner,
Can you imagine trying to get away with that? I'd be like, all right, leave.
I'll work at it. I'll work it in. I'll find a way.
Please do. Please do.
So we didn't have a Superman reference so far, at least as far as we can tell. We've missed it if it was there.
Yeah.
And do you have an obscure reference?
Lemon tree.
Lemon tree. Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember when we used to say this?
No.
We used to say like tippy toe and lemon tree.
Oh, we did.
Because tippy toe and lemon tree in the episode, the phone message is like used as a way of
signaling,
warning someone else that someone's coming or whatever.
Yeah, it's the signal.
And that's basically what we would do anytime, like, I don't know, if we were at school and basically cursing or something, and like a teacher would come by.
You're like, tippy toe.
Lemon tree, yeah, exactly.
I forgot we did that. Okay, no, that's good. Mine is, I guess, it's also a line, but it's just very, like, obscure. It's not meant to be hilarious, but I find it funny. Mm-hmm. Elaine gets in the car and looks at Jerry and goes, "You get a haircut?" And he goes, "No, shower." It's just like, it's like, okay. Like, I don't know. I love how random and obscure that is. So that was my favorite obscure line.
Nice. So we covered all categories.
Right.
We got a new one. We're going to do best observation.
From Jerry.
We'll do that next week. Or I'm sorry, next, I guess, episode we do.
Right.
So without thinking about it, do you think the MVP will change?
Right. So I think,
will it be anyone but George in this season?
For me, probably no, if I'm taking the safe bet, but I do think that there is a chance for everything else to change.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm going to keep everything I have so far, but I think best episode is subject to change. Mm-hmm. Worst episode, subject to change. And then we still have more side characters to meet. I'm hoping somebody will come in and surprise us. I don't really care if least favorite side character gets changed because that's kind of a negative category.
Exactly.
And then I'll keep an eye out for favorite lines, obscure references, Superman, obviously. I mean, what do you think?
I can't remember in my head, like, because I've watched the show for so long and I've watched it so randomly, not like in succession. I can't remember when people have certain careers.
Right.
Which is where a lot of the great side characters and episodes come from.
Yeah.
So I can't really...
Like George's real estate career.
His real estate career is great. I love it when he goes and works for the Yankees and there's Steinbrenner and Mr. Wilhelm. And I love...
Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Pitt, obviously, is great. Jay Peterman, obviously fantastic.
I'd say Pitt and Peterman are late.
They are late, yeah. And... yeah, but there's a lot of characters to come. We still haven't even met Newman, so
that is true.
He's also coming up.
Would you consider him a side character?
I feel like anyone but the four is a side character.
Okay, good.
He gets a lot of time, but he's pretty great. So.
And so far, we've only seen Jerry's parents in the Pony Remark episode, as far as I know, and we haven't had George's parents yet at all.
Right, and I think we have like half a season with the other guy playing George's dad before Ben Stiller comes in.
Jerry Stiller.
Yeah, or Jerry Stiller.
Yeah, because I don't even think George's dad comes in until the handicap spot.
Which is like season 3 or 4?
4 or 5. I watched it the other night.
Wow, okay.
I watched it because it was on the same disc as Junior Mint.
And that is late. It's crazy how good it's crazy just how the show just goes like upwards.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like most shows hit their stride by like 3 and then go to 6 and then go down.
Right. Whereas this show to me it continuously gets better and like I don't know 4 through 8 are like
fire.
Yeah, just
that's gonna be hard when it's gonna be hard to rank them when we rank seasons.
Right.
Because this is gonna be better than season 1, without a doubt. Like,
of course,
it already is.
Of course. So, like, let me just... And, you said the main 4. So, like, even when Susan is George's wife, you would consider her a side character?
Yeah, I think she can win side character.
Yeah, I mean, she won't. I don't even know why I'm asking. But just in case, just to clarify who she is.
Right.
Okay. And then I had something else, but I forgot. But do you have any other... Let me make sure I've covered all my notes on the episodes.
Taking notes.
Covered that. The statue. So I thought Ray and Rava were wild. I do find it funny that they're only in that episode. Elaine's line of "Let's throw a Molotov cocktail through their window" is like extremely insane. And there wasn't a laugh track on it.
No, it was just sad.
It was just us laughing at it. So I thought that was weird. And then Oh, also, I forgot to put this in my category of favorite lines. It wouldn't have won, but I meant to mention it because it's one of the few lines that we've gotten to hear from Elaine that I thought was hilarious, and that was when she's like, yeah, Lippman loves Rava and Ray, and he doesn't think you're funny at all.
Yeah.
Love that. So I think that was good. And then, like we said, Kramer is trying to work his way into the MVP conversation in the statue by holding up Ray, pretending to be a cop from the suit that he got from Jerry's granddad, and then breaking the statue. And screwing Jerry out of $5,000 momentarily.
Right. So, I don't want to go like too long, but let me just pose this out here. Who do you think has the most MVPs by the time we're done? Is it, because we both love George and Kramer, but is there any way, like just the way the episodes or seasons mark out, that it's somehow Elaine or Jerry gets it?
I don't want it to be this way because I feel like it makes us look sexist, but we're not the ones who wrote the show. I just don't think Elaine's ever going to win MVP in any season.
Yeah.
Now, if we did MVP by episode, which would be too difficult, we're not going to do that really. But like, to me, she's got some episodes where she has the funniest line, or
easily
she's got some good parts, or she's the focus of the episode, like the little kicks.
The little kicks, she'd probably win it. The one where she's on the plane the whole time with David Puddy,
yeah,
she would definitely win it. That's one of my favorite parts of the entire show.
Yeah, like she has great moments, but for a whole season, I just don't see her ever winning the season MVP. But we'll see. I mean, she's got a chance in the later seasons, but I feel like she's least likely, and I'm really hoping that Jerry can sneak one or two in. But I mean, George and Kramer are just the best actors, so they have the funniest lines, and they're just the most enjoyable for me.
They're the best actors, and they're the best characters. They're so much dumber and ridiculous than the other two.
Right. Where, I mean, Jerry's dumb and ridiculous, but he's like
still successful and like.
Well, and I guess because he's a comedian, like his dumb and ridiculousness is like him being a comedian. Like George and Kramer are just dumb and ridiculous because of who they are.
Yeah.
Like, on their own. Like, they're not trying to be stand-up comedians.
I get that, yeah. One last thing I wanted to say. I forgot about saying this earlier when I was talking.
Wait, so you think it's going to be George and Kramer, though?
Unfortunately, yeah. I think it's going to probably be... it's going to be George or Kramer, and it's... I don't know
Who wins more MVPs for you? Like, if you had to guess right now. 9 seasons... George won MVP of season 1, and so far he's leading 2.
I guess George then, because
he's got the head start.
He's probably going to win 1 and 2, and then
who knows from there?
Yeah, he's already got 2 head start. That's gonna be hard to do. You only got 7 more seasons, but
well, maybe Kramer will surprise us these last 6 episodes.
That's true. But yeah, I another thing I already noticed about the second season is that they've gone for less sitcom-y. You can see the setup coming a mile away sort of jokes. They've already sort of moved on past that.
Right.
Which I appreciate.
Do you think that's Larry David kind of getting more free reign?
Yeah. I don't know specifically. It's not really clear. I know they get more free reign as time goes on, but I still don't think by here when they're struggling with ratings that he really is given that much free reign. Because I don't think he has like the power of, hey, I gave you the biggest show of all time.
Right.
So I think that right now it's just more of they're getting into a groove and they've sort of found out what stories work, and they're not trying to hit on all these. I guess they're not trying to hit on any serious motions at all, and they're not trying to hit on all these really samey sitcom jokes.
Right. Which I do appreciate, because that's pretty much the problem I have with every sitcom. Is just that obvious, right down the middle humor.
Oh, I got hit in the crotch. Oh.
Yeah. Or just the jokes. It's like nobody talks like this. Like, you're obviously setting up a joke for this person to hit the punchline, and like conversations just aren't that perfect.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Like, it happens, but it doesn't happen every conversation 2 people have.
Dude, that happens like once a month. You know?
Right.
That doesn't happen every minute of a day.
I try.
Yeah, exactly.
I try to make it happen.
You gotta try.
People make it difficult.
All right, that's all I got.
All right. Well, party people, I hope you enjoyed our mid-season review of Seinfeld Season 2. Be on the lookout for our final review of Season 2 and the rest of the mini-series to come. Like I said, we're going to go through all 9 seasons. It's going to take forever. We hope you love it. For Reagan, I'm Ryan. You have a great night.